Man, he was scared those cows. They said, who was that 223 pound raw muscle head? That must be a bull. Inca bull.
Alright guys, today is going to be an off the farm tour. We are going to Maier Farm in Vail, North Carolina. We're going to go help him do some chores. He's a real good friend.
Welcome to Maier Farm. Yeah, I hate we can't see bees going in and out. Y'all are experiencing that too. This is where they were at yesterday.
Okay, so they were right here.
Right here. So
You can see the square.
right here.
So it's probably 40 by 40. Maybe? 50?
No, that's no more than to about where Ben is, maybe 25 yards at most, 25 back. Okay, so this white fence, what we do is these cows weigh somewhere between 750 and 900 pounds apiece. They're what you call feeder cattle or stocker cows. They're all steers, which means they're boys they're no longer, they can't have babies. And so when I buy them, they're somewhere between 12 and 14 months old. And I bought them, I bring them in, they're weighing, when I bought them in, they weigh between 680 and 820. And so what I do is I give them, it is purely grass. I feed them some minerals a few times a week. What I'm giving them is actually, it's kelp. There's Icelandic kelp made by a company called Thorvin. And so I move them daily throughout the pasture. And this little white wire here you see is called poly wire. It's really the same stuff that's used in the fencing. It only withstands 120 pounds. So they can run right through it. But when they get in it the first time or two, their nose touches that, it hits them and they jump back and they don't challenge it after that. So it's an amazing thing. I really only have to have it plugged up a lot of days and it'll be enough to discourage them. By the time they're out of here, I want them to gain somewhere between 200 to 300 pounds over about 7 months, and then we sell them to customers. We don't sell the cow, what we do is take it to the butcher, they cut them up, it's all pre-ordered, and all that kind of stuff. So these cows have a good life. We have 100 gallons of water, so every single day they give them fresh well water. A cow on a hot day drinks about 20 gallons. And so these cows will go through 100 gallons pretty easily. To help deworm, we actually have something called Basic H, which is made by Shackley Corporation. And so what they do is they create environmentally friendly type soap, and a lot of farmers have found that it's helpful in keeping worms down. So what we do is about once a month, I take about a cup of Basic H. Like I said, it's like a soap. It's a household cleaner. I pour it in their water, and it's really a natural and effective way. It doesn't do any damage to the environment, in which I'm able to, they drink all that down, make sure they drink it all, and it really helps with the worm issue. Moving them daily, fresh grass every day, takes them out of their poop, all right? So it cuts down on the parasites they're going to ingest. You see all this right here, right? I mean, they leave their goodies, and that looks like manure to us, and we think, oh, it's just nasty, and we don't want to step in it. But I mean, that is next year's grass growth right there. And so that is terrific fertilizer that comes out of their back end that pours right into the soil. It's organic matter, and it's nutrient rich in what they're doing. Wow. That's an amazing creation and critter right there that just builds your soil and gives us something to eat. And there are very few people who don't like a good steak. Okay, so again, this wire is hot right now. So Joshua, will you please run around to where the wire attaches and just kind of unhook it for me?
Are you going?
I'm going to go in there after you do that. I'm going to flip over this water. Okay.
While he's doing that on a note, he talks about the line and the nose, and they jump back. In India, they train baby elephants, and they put a spare tire around their ankle, tied to a rope. So what happens when they're babies, it'll hold them back. Now, when they get 12,000 pounds, in their minds, they still remember that tire, and they won't move. The minute it jerks back, they remember when they were little, and they won't move. They won't break out of that tire.
That's amazing. Yes, you can train an animal to think that way. You can train people to do that too.
If we can only train our children to.
That's right. Now just leave it right there. That's good. These cows, by the way, are all either an Angus, a black Angus is a red Angus right here, or Brangus, which is a mix between an Angus and a Brahman cow. And so Brahmans are really bred to be much more successful in higher humidity and higher temperatures. Angus will really do better in cooler temperatures. And so I'm not able to provide shelter for these cows. It'd be ideal if I could. That's probably the biggest challenge, going back to infrastructure.
Mobile.
I'd have to have a mobile structure. I just can't build anything that would be, first of all, anything that a 1,000-pound cow is going to rub up on. It's got to be pretty hardy. And so I just can't build something I can move easily daily to accommodate that. And so I want to bring a variety here, a breed in on this farm that withstands the heat, and something that has some Brahma as part of that does a lot better than just a pure Angus. We're going to just grab that hose and just drag it up here. All right, come on, y'all. We'll do this fence right here. All right, here we go. Ready, Emma? I just need you to puff these in the ground. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and won't take me any time. I'm just going to put this up.
So which one's hot? The one at the end?
Neither one's hot right now, so I don't turn it on until I move the cow, and then I hook it up to the fence. This spool, very nice, Ben. So what I do is, I got a second reel on this one, so I move them over and then I'll set up the next pattern.
Look at him, look at him, look at him. That's a lot of hamburger.
There's a hamburger on the move. Alright, so while I'm doing this, I need y'all to walk around and unwrap this, pop the string off, pull these up, and then we're going to form another pattern right there.
Over here. Yep.
Pretty good right there. That's a good size pattern.
Oh, okay, you mirror that. So put it here. You get it, kid. That's pretty good.
You got spool. Yeah. Now you know what happens when you go fishing. You get spool. Pull it out there, and if you get all three at once, you're just going to do it for you. Tapping on camera and everything. Man, that's embarrassing. Got to be when the lights are on, huh? All right, now we're in business. We're in business.
For you people who like fishing, that's what getting spooled feels like. You'll know the term, getting spooled.
Man, you just scared those cows. They said, who was that 223-pound raw muscle head? That must be a bull.
Think a bull.
All right, so normally, like I said, I would just do set up the paddock the next day. We in effect set up 2 paddocks. So they're good to go. So first thing to do is I come out in the water, paddock set up, open this up, let them through, take this down, put some over there. Judah helps me almost every day. The last thing I do is
How old is Judah, by the way?
turn it on. Judah's 8.
8-year-old kid, man.
Judah helps me with the cows. Joshua collects eggs. Josiah feeds pigs. So that's kind of how.
And Lydia and Stephanie eat it.
They eat it. No, Stephanie does a lot of work out here, just all over the place. All right.
Everybody.
So, hey, just to give you a heads up, right? So, like I said, they came exactly 43 days ago, 6 weeks. They came through here. What most people do in pastures, they say this: we're just going to let our cows go. They walk around, the cow goes back and continue to eat the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. Cow's going to focus on clover mostly. You know, it's just like most kids, right? If you give them dessert and you give them the stuff they need to eat, they would eat dessert, dessert, dessert. And that's what cows do. And so what happens is they're not getting a diet they need. They're going to hang out in one spot. And you can even see the grass really green. That's where they pooped 6 weeks ago. All right, you can already see how that's fertilized that coming back up. So now we're starting our second cycle through the pasture.
Huh.
All right? Y'all keep eating?
How many cycles do you get them in the whole pack?
So it depends on how thick your forage is. Depends on how many cows you have.
It's the most cows you've ran?
Well, like last year we had 3.
3, this is now 5.
So I'm going to just kind of pushing pretty hard to get through the pasture. The first time through, to get that pressure through the road. Water coming up so quick. Probably, I'd say 6 to 8 weeks is next time through.
Do you take them all the way down, or just up here?
Go all the way around the outside and then kind of come back all the way in. So I try to cover the entire thing.
And that's what, roughly you say about 10 acres?
Like 7.5 acres. Just that dry.
You know what? You mention all this now because we have a 4.5-acre paddock up top that we can actually run. Now that I see your system, I can run. That was great, man. Because now that I see that, it's not that hard. I want to maximize every inch.
Hey Josh, you turn the water off? Thank you.
Yeah, Dad.
All right, we're good.
Started.
Come on, Josh.
So you're running them under the tree.
So yeah, so the thing is, they're not going to have that shelter forever. And so we got,
Oh wow.
so these three right here, we got 5 or 6 weeks ago. And I got 2 more yesterday. And
Where'd you get them at?
these 3 have got about 3 minutes up the road.
Huh. And the other 2?
The other 2 I got them at Salisbury. It's hard to find piglets right now.
I told you I already locked down mine. Did you ever call that guy in Landrum?
I did. I needed something quick when he had anything available.
Yeah, he did.
This is Premier. This is hog netting. I like it because same thing. They hit it. I'm not going to mess with it.
Yeah.
They won't bite you. They nibble.
Again, the thing is, you got to keep this grass pretty short. That's the first wire that's hot right there. So I got 200-foot sections, and so I got 200 feet around here. And really, the plan is every 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to move them. So they started up there, moving here this weekend, and moving down to the next section. They'll probably have 2 more moves on this pasture. I always want to make sure they have shade for the pigs. Don't want them out in the sun all day. And I'm going to take them back into the woods back there. So I'm going to finish them in the woods.
By the creek.
That's the plan. Not all the way down to the creek. It's further than you think, kind of back to the creek.
Right, yeah.
Plan on paddock them up and run them through the woods back.
Because that's where you guys camped at, right?
Yeah. So yeah, man. So really, I could with that. There's probably 3-4 acres of woods. I could run a bunch of pigs. Easily do 10 to 15 if we wanted to.
Yeah. And how often are we going to move them? Every day?
No. It's they've been in this 2 weeks now, and Saturday they're gonna move down the next lot. It's really so the way that Joel Saddles talked about this, and he says, how do you know how often to move your pigs? Do you give them a certain amount of time? And he says, well, ideally you do it based on kind of like the weight of your pig. In other words, once they reach a certain weight, you move them again. So the best indicator he can find to move that is based on how much food they eat. And so, for example, if you got 5 pigs, once they finish 200 pounds of food, you move them. And so if that's your indicator, then every time they finish 200 pounds of food, you move them. Because what you want to do is, as they get bigger, they're obviously going to do a lot more damage to the land itself, to the soil. But yeah, you're right. Your pigs are probably twice that size, by the guess.
They're pushing 200 pounds.
They're already that big? But they're how old now? They're 5 months?
They're almost 5 months. So at the end of this month, they'll be 5 months old.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And they're...
How quickly they grow up.
Oh, yeah. I'm just looking at, do I do stationary or do I do movement? And I think if I do stationary, I don't get as much. I more than anything, I make the soil toxic, and I don't want to do that. So I want to start moving things around. Now, as far as my 4 paddocks where I move the chickens, I'm going to move the chickens because they're so easy to read.
Yeah. What kind of? But you have them in permanent fencing, right? Your hog.
So I have 4 on 38, almost 40 foot by 40 foot. So I have 1,600 square feet for the pigs. And then we put in shavings, like a bunch of shavings with the manure. So we move that around now. So what I want to do is we want to open up, make it 40 by 180. So it'll be 40, like from here all the way down the width of it. And then have them just roam. But I really like what I saw up there, to be honest with you. Because that's real little.
Right.
You move them every day. I have 45. I mean, the whole back. If you could see the whole back, it's incredible. I just don't have grass, so I have to feed them something, and I'm okay. I think if I do that, buy a lot of hay. I guess, right? Is that what you got to do?
If you have to feed them, yeah, you'll hay.
So I have to get some hay for like the first 2-3 seasons, right? Get a bull in there and create my own.
Build the soil. So yeah, man, that's what we're looking at. But I want the pigs to. I want to be able to root. I want to be able to dig stuff up. I want to be able to clear in some cases. They'll help clear some of that out and just keep moving them down. Ideally, I would probably at least I'd like to even kind of thin some of this out right here, a little more of a silver pasture type look. However, I don't know. I'd have to get in here chainsaw and do some work at that point. And then I'd probably want them when they're done in this area. I'd probably want to overseed.
Right.
And then whatever it is, grows in. So I only want to put them in one place once a year. Like I don't want to bring them back to this spot this year. So this will have the full 11 months of rest before they come back next year.
Plus, you got to read the way the land goes. So you start up there, it seeps down this way. So through all your waterways, that's why environmental case will get on you about how close you are to the creek, and shade you take away, like with logging and learning, they don't like anything being taken up there. And then what kind of runoff? A watershed. So because you don't want this going in there.
Yep.
So it's kind of cool. There's a lot more to it than what people think.
For sure.
And you just gotta be willing to learn.
Did you even chicken did you buy notice?
No, so like for me that's a 50-gallon drum, and so that is there's about 200 pounds of food in there. So instead of going to the barn every day, just filling that up, and
we do the same thing.
Trying to be more efficient, right?
Yes.
I'm learning the hard way in some of this stuff.
I think we're both in the same boat. We came up with 20 questions we wanted to ask you, right? So I left them in my jacket, but one of those things was efficiency. Like there's a right way to do it. Like, everybody I think shoots to be like someone, right? So there's a country song that says you either follow something, you fall for anything, believe in something, you fall for anything. I don't know. I'm not a country guy, but anyways. So like for you and I, it's been a lot of inspiration from like Joel Salatin, the way he's been doing things and all that. But at the end of the day, what works on our layout? Like the topography is different.
That's right.
The topography's here. I mean, can you imagine going from there to there? I mean, just looking at it makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
So the topography is different. So what we do is we take metal bins and we have them scattered all over so that we can just scoop, and every one of them has food. And they're metal because the rats and the mice chew through the plastic eventually. Right. So we got metal ones. They're a little more expensive, but we're hoping it lasts. And we have. It's worked so far. So, or we'll go to hog slab, but then those are stationary ones.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't like the idea of that neither. So I figure with the bins, I can at least, when they're empty, they weigh like 3 pounds, just move them.
That's right.
So I think the mobile aspect has really got me, my juices flowing. And right now, I was hesitant to put any permanent fencing where the pigs are at, So that fencing is not permanent. It's cattle panels held on by T-posts. So I just go in there with my tractor, pop the T-posts, take the cattle panels, and not even cut.
So you can move that pretty easy.
Yep, done and done.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to do that, but because I was really saying there's no way we can do cattle. There's no way. I read all the books and read over and over and researched 1.8 acres. That means one cow that's going to be there. The way you're running that, I think I can run. So you're saying they go 42 days before they end up back on that spot.
That's what I was able to do. Now this is thick forage,
right?
Mm-hmm. And so I find here that when it's pretty thick, they only need about 80 square yards. It's 8 by 10 yards per cow per day. So when you talk about that way, we're talking about that's not much space, right?
24 by 10. So you're talking 200, so 730 square feet, a garage.
Yeah,
a little bit,
it's not much garage, right? But obviously, if your forage is a lot thinner, then you got to
mine's so thin.
You got to account for that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would have to feed them, and I'm okay with that. I really am okay with that too. I want to find out what it's like. I don't want to be. This is why we're here, right? I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
We talked about this before, and then I was like, enough talking about it. Let's just do it. Hey. I don't know. After seeing what you're doing up there, I'm like, okay, it's not as thick. Our pasture's not as thick at all.
Yeah.
But it's not a no.
Right. Well, that's like Joel Salon say. He'll say, look, we've had 100 plus acres, and we were putting 12 to 15 cows on. It's all at the handle. So that's just been over years, just using the animals to build the soil. Now, of course, the other thing he would do is they would have cows in the winter, and they'd put them under these big shelters, and basically feed them hay, poop and pee in the hay. Then they would take all that and they throw it over the field, and so they're also just helping fertilize the field in a natural way.
Yeah, with the pigs, remember the corn he puts
in
the
there. Yep. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, it's like I think you nailed it when I think you said you got to figure out what works for your land and your property, what system you're trying to incorporate. And also this, I mean, you don't want to bring animals on you don't enjoy working with them.
Yes.
I mean, I like having cows. I understand a lot of people being hesitant going, that's a large animal. I mean, I don't care about goats. I have no interest in having a goat.
I had no interest in
I've
having
had a lot of
goats
people say to me, "Why don't you get goats?" I'm like, I don't want a goat.
I have no interest in goats.
I've had people offer me goats. Do you want a free goat? I'm like, no, I don't want a goat. I just don't want a goat.
I have no. My girl's doing my wife. You have the time, then you do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, so now this is, by the way, a whole other issue on your property is runoff, right?
We know about runoff.
So where does this all go? So when it's raining heavy, it doesn't go that way, and it's going to come this way. And it's just channel through this drain, which I'm going to have to deal with.
So at one point there was dirt here, guys. Look at that.
Look at that. You got a fence post that's hanging.
Hanging. That is
That's what
bananas.
happens. That's power of water.
Yeah.
But I tell you what's really interesting is when you build more organic material into your soil, it absorbs water, and so the stronger your soil gets, the less flooding you get. And so one of the reasons why we have so many flooding issues in the United States is because we've taken so much of our topsoil, that rich organic material that's built over thousands of years, and man, so much of it has just washed into the ocean, and because of that, flooding is more prevalent than it would have been.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, we'll take it back up to the house, all right?
Let's go, girl.
Let's get away.